All right, folks. All right, folks. I think we're good to go. Mike is good. But yes, folks, my name's Rodrigo. I'll be here with you today going over the session with Nic Chahine, lead trader at the Benzinga Options Inner Circle chat room. And a lot of you guys already know Nick from that place, from the Inner Circle. If you don't know him, I really think you should start trying to get to know him. Very, very, big step there for options traders to help them out. Couple shout outs here: Patrick, Nate. We got Catherine Rogers in the house. Tony, Heesh, Russell, Rick. Shout out to you guys. And in the chat, go ahead and let me know when you guys are ready to start. Once you guys are good to go, once everything is ready, let me know, guys, in the chat. A couple topics we're going to talk about today are number one, trade ideas. Nick's 90% options win rate formula, right? So if you're starting to learn options or you're advanced, this is your place. Options education, setups for equities, options, crypto, commodities, buys and sells, charts, market discussions. And please make sure that you stick around until the end because we will have a live Q&A there and a real-time view of the Inner Circle live trading room. So let's go ahead and bring here Mr. Nic Chahine, lead trader.
Wow, wow, wow. That's quite the intro, man. I can't live up to it.
Hey, man, how are you doing, Nick?
Oh, doing great. We had an awesome day in the room. Um, Given all the craziness, I think we played it pretty well today. We're active. The chat room itself was pretty active. People were pasting. Somebody had an issue closing an iron condor from yesterday, and they needed help with that. So they pasted the image. We helped them out. And luckily that they were also in the live trading room, which is the other thing we have going. And that's where all the fun happened. The end result is, let me tell you, we have people from the room that are owning $290 puts on Netflix. If you don't know, it's well below $290.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to be swimming in cash tomorrow. A few of the people that did take that.
And that was just to clarify here because I was on the live trading room today. That was in the live trade, just for everybody to know, because there's
Yep.
two chat rooms. This
Yep.
was in the live trading room where
Yep.
you're sharing your screen, all that stuff. And of course, yeah,
Can
Netflix
I
has
can I
had,
steal the screen?
yeah, go ahead. But yeah, Nick, Netflix has had a couple of rough earnings, but I know that you have a lot of things happen in the chat room, like you're saying, and I know that many of these things can be converted into mini lessons, if you will, right? And examples of trade ideas and setups and things like that. I think it's good to maybe start with that and show them a little bit of what you do every day, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and Sundays in the chat room with the
Okay.
folks.
So I'll start with the funnest part, which is this part. This is the most recent addition to the service. So I back up a little bit. I'm an engineer. I don't come from Wall Street. I figured this stuff out on my own. There was nobody teaching back then when I started. I got into options because a friend of mine made a mistake. And he called me up and he said, I used to buy and sell stocks, $30,000 worth in order to eke out $500 in a day or something like that. And then one day he says, I have to go to the bank at lunchtime. You want to come? I was like, well, what's at the bank? He said that he needed to cover a margin call, 25,000. So I said, what did you do? He goes, I don't know. I was like, what was it? He goes, a call, something to do with a call. It turns out that he had sold a call naked and the stock rallied. So he needed to go cover a short. So I got interested to find out what he didn't know. He did. And that's how I got into options. But anyway, so I learned through the School of Hard Knocks. And then in 2011, I started teaching through Benzinga, or not teaching at the time, it was sharing trade setups. And it was like, here's a trade I took, here's a trade I took. And then the questions came up, it was like, well, how are you getting to these trades? So now it's more of a showing you what I do, how I do it. Maybe you can do the same or figure it out how it works best for you. Different personalities are different. I'm very conservative with money, super aggressive in life. I race cars. I fight for sport, for fun. I'm 54 and I still fight 20-year-olds. So, but when it comes to money, I'm chicken. I take bets. I know I can win.
Really quick, and that means what you're trying to say is that in the chat room you have a style of trading that's for people that day trade options,
Yep.
and you have a style for people that
Yep.
like to do swing longer term trades. Okay.
So what you're going to see, conservative setups, that people can take and make more conservative to suit their style. Also, getting to it. So yes, 10 years has it been? 10 years, maybe a little bit more, working with Benzinga, sharing trade ideas, but more importantly, teaching. And now I added the chat room, and on top of the chat room, I added this thing that you're looking at, which is pages and pages of tickers that we track live for intraday price action. And I mean like intraday price action. And today was perfect. I couldn't tell you how perfect. I mean, it sounds fake. If I don't have 250 people watching me do it, it sounds fake, right? So how can you? Thank God that I have people watching. So this is what we were watching into the close. With 8 minutes left in the close, I do something where before a big stock is reporting, it's always a coin flip. The reaction is about emotions, not actual results. It's about emotions and disappointment and jubilation. Whether the results are great or not, it's relative to the expectations. Like, for example, Hood delivered the worst kind of report ever. Bad, nothing good about it. Guidance and everything. Stock rally 25%. People were bracing for even worse than what came out. It came out super bad, but not super, super, super bad. So they had a relative pop. Anyway, so with 8 minutes to go, I checked the internals on Netflix and I said, if I was a betting man, I would bet down. And I said, at least the word 330. I was trying to be conservative. So, and I drew this. I said, definitely down. And somebody jumped into the chat room, said, well, I'm in puts that Ryan suggested I would take. Somebody in the chat room, not my idea. They took the down and they put in their own spin on it with a trade setup. There were 2 or 3 versions of it. One person wanted to do a put calendar. His name was Usama. He came in early in the morning. He said, what about this trade? 315 put calendar. That trade's not going to make a lot of money tomorrow. It will make at the open, but he has to be fast. I said I would do a diagonal, which would make better money, easier to manage. So we discussed that, and I taught what a diagonal is, what a calendar is. So there was a mini lesson throughout the day. And then the super bang trade for the day would be coming from Ryan, I believe. He said, I'm in $290 puts for next week. So they bought this put for next week. Tomorrow, right. That put's going to be explosive. It's going to be just massive.
You can get like some weekly puts on that and several hundreds, who knows. But so here's the thing, Nick. Now, you obviously focus on live trading. You've been doing this for 20 years. You're trading both types of trades with options. But I don't know if a lot of people know, but you do provide real-time education based on everything that you do. So every trade you make, it's like a mini lesson that you provide on every move you make, right? Macro, micro, everything.
Yeah. Today I shared a write-up that's somewhat unusual, and it was very detailed, and I laid it out with 2 different things we can do. So this was, today I had a lesson on divergence. You hear divergence. I'm going to give you a lesson that's so easy to understand. You go, so that's what they mean with divergence. And how did we make money with divergence? So this is one of the things I did today. That's a picture of a warning. I said, look at what's going to happen. What is this? The SPY. Look at what's going to happen. Late in the day, we had this rally. I was very upset with this rally. I wasn't upset. I wasn't happy with this rally. This was a bull trap. It was you know what? Huh? So this was unnecessary. Up here, we were already 1.7% up on the day or something like that. This took out the potential for tomorrow. It exhausted the buyers into tomorrow. And I drew this. And then what reality happened, let's see here. Was it a 1-minute chart? Reset. Okay, this is where it is right there. Look, that's the line I drew. They fell into here. This is the lesson, so pay attention. That's lesson number 1. They hit my target. And then I looked away, I was answering a question, and then I come back and this has happened. I was like, what? So here I said, I would buy puts for tomorrow. That's what I said. And I pointed out the put I would buy. It cost 52 cents. So if I did one, it's 52 bucks. And then this happened. So the put had profits. It was like up 25, 30%, whatever it was. So I look away and I come back and they did this. I was like, wait, what the heck is going on here? And then I look at the put, and the put got more expensive. I said, don't close it. The market makers are going to pull the rug from under the people here, because when this happens and your put gets more expensive and there wasn't an explosion in the VIX or anything, that means they have bad intentions. The market makers price options where they think price is going to go. They don't make puts more expensive when they think the market's going to rally. So this rally was complete bunk. And then this happened. So the put, if you paid for it 52 cents here, it was probably $1.10, $1.20 here. So you more than doubled your money. Don't take my word for it. Let me bring you another picture here, hot from the the room itself. This one right there. This one. This is from the room. I had 210 people at the tail end of the day after hours. After hours, the market's closed. There they are watching my screen, which you're looking at. And here are the comments. Mafi, I call him Casper. He's been with me, I don't know, 7, 8 years. Casper, because nothing. He comes in, what's the trade? Disappears like a ghost, Casper. And he took almost 100% in less than 20 minutes. And he's the one that gave me the 111 quote. So he bought it at whatever he bought it when I pointed it out, and he sold it after the market closed. Did you know you can trade options on indices after the market closes? You have 15 minutes. He closed it for 111. So Usama's asking, same Usama, should I book it or hold it? I said, depends. If you're long stocks and you see that Netflix is falling, you shouldn't close it. You should keep it. It hedges your longs. If you just need a win, sure. Or how about you close some, you leave some. And then he says, booked it somewhere here a little bit later. So the conversation is going all day. And these are 250, 270 of my closest friends. And that's the kind of stuff we do. And so what you're seeing now are standalone videos for education that are there for you all the time. If you can't make it into the live room, and if you can't make it into the chat room, which are open, the chat room's open all day, every day, night, day, doesn't matter. The live room is open before the market opens until slightly after. This, what you're looking at, is available to you 24/7 on the Benzinga platform. And it's videos I've done to illustrate a few common themes, like what's an option, what's a put option, what's a call option, what's a spread, what's a credit spread, what's an iron condor, what's the difference between a cash settled index and an ETF, and things like that. How to scalp, how to buy protection. Do I have one of these? The table breakdown, how to book a loss, how to book a profit.
Yeah, and you actually continue to do more videos for this as we go, right? So
I add videos as we need them. So if somebody asks a question that I think, like, I owe you a couple more videos to go on there, because there are a few new themes that have come up as we've expanded the service. New questions are coming up, and we need to refresh some of the older questions. Like today, I had specific questions that somebody pasted their own portfolio of an iron condor. I shared an iron condor yesterday that expires tomorrow, and it's winning. So, and it's, in fact, the bottom part completely won today. The top part got under pressure, but I think now it's still balanced right in the middle. So tomorrow, if the stock market doesn't explode before above, 70 or 80 points above where it is right now, which I find that going to happen with Netflix downfall, then that wins. What did it win? It won 25% in, 14 hours. And he had that, and he wanted to close it today. And he made a mistake while closing it, and he double opened it, and he closed both, and he wanted to make sure that he did it right. And he pasted the image. So I spoke to it like we're talking now, and I pulled up his image, and then we discussed it live.
Yeah. So it's really important, Nick, to also note, because I don't remember the specific user, but it happens so often where someone will make a trade, they'll sell a naked call, and they don't know what they're doing. And like someone posted a screenshot, they thought they were doing something, and then you were like, no, that's not what that trade. So not even knowing the risk, you could end up following the bag.
That was a few days ago, and it was on Twitter. They owned 21 contracts or 41 contracts, I can't remember, a whole lot of contracts of Twitter and calls, and they wanted to book their profits. So they go to sell those calls, and the platform was telling them they're taking unlimited risk. So clearly the platform was not recognizing that he already owned calls. So it saw his sale of the calls as a naked call sale. So I said, I wouldn't hit send because then you might be short Twitter at that price. So call the broker and see what the heck's going on here. So yeah, he also pasted a picture. It does happen all day. They direct message me. Some of them have gotten hold of my email. They email me here and there, although this is suboptimal. We have the chat room because it's available to you all day. Even if you have a job, most people have jobs. Some people can get away a couple of hours a day. Some people can't get away during the day. So they can log in to the chat room, direct message me or in the open forum and say, what about this? What about that? Also, in the chat room before the day starts, I send out all the lines for the day on the ETFs and the thought process for the day, what I expect, what to look out for. Middle of the day, I send out a message, a note, an update, and then also a trade setup. So today I did all three. And on Sunday, if you don't have enough of me, so basically, I'm trying to get you a way to reach me on any schedule. So if you can't reach me during the day where I am here all day, every day, that's why I have this lovely gamer chair behind me because it's comfortable. If you can't catch me here, you can catch me in the chat room at any point in time. And if you can't catch me live in either of those two, you can catch me twice on Sunday. You can catch me on Sunday morning. I hold a 2.5-hour webinar every Sunday for all the members that are in the chat room. Members of the chat room, not in the chat room, that can't make it during the week. If you can get away on Sunday for 2 hours or 20 minutes, I'm there. Why? Because on Saturday and Friday, I give you a form to submit all the tickers you want in order for us to review them on Sunday. So on Sunday, I'll open up all the tickers. We'll go through all of them. I'll record the session. I'll share it for those who can't attend. I will also provide a whole list of clickable charts and comments and trade setup potentials for all those tickers. That last week was 150. The week before that was 155. Last week was 148, I think. 155 the week before that. So that's on top of the weekday where I answer questions all day long. The bottom line is, and Sunday night, because I said twice on Sunday night, I send out a full video, about 8 to 12 minutes, usually 10, of the strategy for the week. What do I expect? So this week, the message was, I want to see what Netflix does and how the others will react to it. And I said, I'm really worried about Netflix. This is the Chipotle session before the bad burrito. If you've been trading for a while, you know what I mean. Chipotle, CMG, had an incredible stock, rising incredibly fast because of one thing and one thing only. They knew how to grow comps, comparable sales. Comparable sales are how are your sales this year from a restaurant perspective to this time last year. That's the only measurement they care about when you're talking about a restaurant. So they had numbers like you wouldn't believe. They are still incredible that way. But for a period of time, they had poisonings in their restaurants. They lost that. So the stock fell 40, 50%. It got shellacked. This could be the moment, the bad burrito moment for Netflix, because their comp is literally the comp of new subscribers. And they tell me, I haven't read the report. They tell me they shrunk. Question, is this the first time they shrunk? And also more important, what is their ARPU? I think they call it the average revenue per user. That's also important. So I said, I'm really scared of Netflix. And I also said last time, Reed Hastings, their CEO, is totally cocky. He's very confident. And the impression I got from their body language last time, they lacked that. So I was concerned about the reaction to Netflix. And then I read the open interest and the volume for today and the options. I was like, ooh, that definitely looks lower. If I was a betting man, I would bet lower. Now, I didn't short Netflix, but I am short the SPX for tomorrow. So effectively, I'm short the market, which is falling because of Netflix. So I'm happy. I'm also long the markets. So I had that same iron condor I suggested yesterday. So you don't know, if you don't know what the iron condor is, it's basically taking both sides of the fences only at extremes. So if I think this is too low, I say, you know what, it's not going to go there. Somebody says, yes, it is. So I take their money, we place a bet. And then if I think that it's not going to go up here, somebody says, yes, it is. I'll take their money, we place the bet. And if it stays between the two, I win. Both people lose. In this case, both peoples are going to lose, and this peoples are going to win. I shared that trade. It paid 25% in a day and a half. Similar setups were the SPY. So the bottom line is you have the static stuff that you're watching on your screen right now from Rodrigo. You have the live room that I just showed you, pages and pages of charts with me at the helm live trading intraday scalps. Yesterday, we had a trade with minutes to go in the day that turned, how much was it? 90 cents into $11.50. So if you bought one contract, it cost you $90, that turned into $1,100 and change. Most people booked it at 900. A couple of the people, I should say, booked it at 900. Some people booked it at 400. Nevertheless, it was a multiple time over. And it was literally, I want to say even under a minute, because I saw something in the IWM. Was it the IWM? I think so. Or the SPX, I can't remember. Late minute read on the volume and the options. I saw a big order come through, and I said, the only way this market maker, who is usually the seller of the order, can make money is if for a minute you have a flash rally or a flash move towards it. I'm drawing a blank as to how we closed yesterday. Was it a big close? Yeah. So anyway, we have a reason to, we call them lottery tickets, last minute lottery tickets. But it was a 7-bagger, as Sandman would say in the live room. So you have those fast trades, and then you have the chat room, and then you have the daily write-ups before the market opens. If you're just going to work, you check your email, there it is. If you pop into the chat room, there it is. Daily, almost every day I share a full trade setup with a video. Today I did one. And by the way, my recommendation, you want to hear what it was, is if you wanted to bet up on the market, especially going into earnings season, that all the mega caps are going to deliver good reports and move up. I said, why not take a very reasonably placed long QQQ by debit call spread that cost about $2.20 to buy, and offset it by shorting Netflix, buying a small debit put spread. I said, if Netflix delivers up, everything is going to move up. You will win on your QQQ. If Netflix disappoints and it crashes, you'll make a ton of money on that. Offsets the entry cost in the QQQ. You can stay long for free. And that was my recommendation middle of the day today, with a video and a full-blown detailed write-up, which also included a bonus non-mentioned credit put spread way of getting long the QQQ that allows for a small dip to happen as well and profit. So if somebody did all three, they are perfect tomorrow morning. Absolutely bulletproof perfect. They're long the Qs with very little money. They're short Netflix. How perfect is that? So this is, don't worry about the apologies there. This is just a blurb. So we cover all angles. There's no way you would have to work really hard not to be able to get my input on anything. I can guarantee you, I live on caffeine right now. It's not very healthy, but I'm doing it for now. And in order to be efficient, I'm making myself more efficient. I'm investing in tools, become super more efficient so that I'm not a bottleneck. Once I become a bottleneck, the folks at Benzinga will get me help. But right now, we are delivering on so much value, as you would say, and content to suit all styles. I have equity traders only, long-term traders only, people who are short-term traders that have time to be in the chat room all day, every day. So they're basically professional traders. They leave for the gym and they come back. And I have options only traders, futures only traders. I have a few currency. We have crypto. I had a whole discussion between yesterday and today with 2 videos, an update on an old video from last June on crypto. Somebody had Marvin, if you're here, hey, somebody misunderstood my statement from last June. They called me on it. They said, you said it's going to 10,000. I said, I don't think so. And it turned out that I mentioned 12,000 last June, but I went and watched the video again, and it was, the scenario was there, but I also said that they had a last ditch effort at a certain number and they used it. They bounced at that certain number. So the discussion is lively across everything.
Right. And
if it has a chart, we got you covered.
You'll and Neil's saying in the chat, so how does a typical week look in terms of how many trade signals are being sent out?
So this varies. I'll give you an example. I share probably 4 official trades with full videos. I share dozens more that are unofficial trades that I discuss them with throughout the day, every day.
Hey, Nick,
So
you want to share
active
the screen? You want to
Huh?
share your screen there?
Yeah.
So they can.
So how active are you is the question. If you're at home and you can only get to your email or check your computer once a day, you're going to probably get 4 a week with full videos. If you're in and out of the chat room, you can get, I don't know, 4 a day. Today we had so many setups that there was something for someone somewhere. So mind you, the ideas are not my goal is not me being a talking head. People are coming to me with their own ideas. People in the live room, they come in and say, I just went short this and went long that. And we have a couple of girls that are amazingly active, and they're always trading and they're posting their trades. We have people that are technicians. Like yesterday, out of the blue, Katya is active here and there. And that's a different girl than the other 2 I mentioned. And somebody was talking some sort of a target, and she jumped in. So she's just there, and not as active as before, but she was still listening. And she jumped in with her 2 cents, adding value to the comment that somebody said. I can't remember the situation, but I remember her popping in and saying, and there's this to look out for, or whatever. And I know her style. She's pretty solid at what she uses. She uses unusual pitchfork, what is it, study that not a lot of people still use, but I know it's valuable because it exists. So, and the pitchfork is just a technical aid that whatever you use, specialize in it. Don't have it on your screen. Look at my screen. There's nothing there that is not hand drawn. There's volume profile. That's it. Those are volume bars. I have new tools that I use every once in a while. Like I even started using Ichimoku, which I don't use. And I said, let's learn Ichimoku on the fly. I think Thursday was the first day, or last Wednesday. I pulled it up and I said, let me see if I can make sense of it. And we totally made sense of it. There's only one piece I don't know what it is, and I need to go back and read. It's that trailing, lagging, whatever they call it, lagging something. Why does it trail? Look, it stops right here when everything goes on to here. How do I use that? I still don't know how to use that, but I can use Ichimoku. I can use Ichimoku, no problem. Oh, and today, did I show you the divergence? I didn't. How about this? Is this okay? Let me see. Any questions to catch up on? I have a question. Nilesh, how does a typical week look in terms of how many trades? Okay, we already answered that. I'm not following that. Netflix went up. What are you talking about? Today, I'm talking after hours. It's down in the 260s. It reported earnings after hours, James. It's 260. What if you have a full-time job? You pop in once a day at your leisure, you have a write-up. If I joined the live stream a little late, can I get all the stream at the beginning of the end of the day somehow? Catherine, what good will it do you if the opportunity happened hours ago? I don't record the live stream. It's 8 hours more. But you can ask, what did I miss? Somebody will clue you in, including me. But like a few people joined really late today. Like somebody said, I just showed up. His logon is E squared. You can go ask him. He showed up. Huh?
No, and I think it's a good time here because my email's getting blown up here. A lot of the folks here from the chat are emailing me about questions about just the overall trading there that's going on in the group. So I'm just going to go over these questions really quick here, Nick, and then we'll move on here. So these are questions from you guys. From you emailed me these questions. All right. So does Nic Chahine go over the member trade ideas? Yes, that happens every single day. Are the sessions on Sunday recorded? Yes, they are recorded. And those are the ones on Sunday. Okay. Um, are the lessons and trading live trading sessions live or pre-recorded? Everything is live. Everything with Nick is live. Does everybody that joined get a free laptop? Yes. Can this help me if I trade options, crypto, commodities, equity? Yeah, we went over that. This can help you no matter what you're trading. It helps me, and I trade a lot of different things. Do you teach? Okay, is this for new traders only or advanced traders? It covers both. You'll get every piece of education with every sort of trade that we do, regardless if it's simple or advanced. What is the chat room schedule? The schedule of the chat room, guys, is Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 p.m. and Sundays for 2 hours. Everything is live with Nick, member only. Is there a money back guarantee? Yes, 7-day money back guarantee. And the price at renewal is going to stay the same. It's not going to go up to the full price, but that is until midnight. So, by the way, we are also raffling anybody that joins today. We're raffling a fully paid ticket, fully paid hotel to the FinTwit conference in Vegas, where you can meet Nick and hang around with him for those 2 days in the conference. I think that covers everything.
This a Head and Shoulder that has downside just from here to here, 445, but $2 downside. Okay, so Catherine, I think you will like it. Join. Here's the thing: cost. I'm very frugal. Trust me. I grew up in the war. I know the value of money. I know the value of assets and time, of course. So I don't squander money, and I don't buy tools. I just recently bought a couple of new tools because they actually produce results. So if I had a scenario like this here that's being offered to you back in the day, I would have jumped all over it, because whatever the cost is, it's definitely less than one mistake that you can avoid. That's for starters. That's the blind offset of any cost you pay today. One mistake in options could cost you that much. On top of it, forget the mistake. If you have a classroom open all day for you, live with a teacher waiting for him or her answer your question, and also on top of it, they will answer all your question off hours, all day long, all week long. And they actually share their trade ideas and setups and their strategy for the week, macroeconomic conditions, microeconomic conditions. What does it mean to invert the yield curve, which is bullcrap, by the way. Don't listen to CNBC on that front. And it only costs that much. The cost per hour, per minute, per day, per week, per year is less than coffee. I promise you. It is an insult to me. I would never, if it was my show, I would never price it this low. That's my personal opinion. So if you're worried about value, or if you don't see value, it's because I failed to show you where the value is, or you didn't even bother asking. Because I can guarantee you that the effort to bring value to you is there. And luckily, Benzinga guarantees my bull crap. If I'm lying, they guarantee that I'm lying and you can get out. So if you're serious, do I trade with actual money? Of course. What do you mean? I do. I can't follow these fast trades because I'm setting them up. So I need at least 10 minutes for me to be able to do it. Otherwise, I say it and you can do it. But if I wasn't saying it, I'd be doing it if it's that fast. But if the trade has more than 10 minutes lifetime on it, I can do it. Like the Iron Condor, I did it. That's how I knew what the prices were. I took it, I shared it, and I did a video on it, and there you go. So here is what I was going to tell you. I'm going to give you a miniature lesson of what happened today. So you hear the word divergence, right? So I'm going to just jump into one of those lessons. This is me, middle of the day, out of the blue, seeing. I went out and said, this is an opportunity to short, and I'm going to show you why this was an opportunity short. How do I know that this rally is different than this rally? Okay, or different than this rally? Look, they look about the same, right here, right here. Why was I concerned here and not here? First of all, this was the target I had from a lower alert. I was concerned here. I was even more concerned here, and I'll show you proof. There was proof positive of divergence. You've heard the term. I'm going to teach you one time, and I can guarantee you now you start looking for it, and after a couple of failed times, you come back and you say, is this divergence? And I'll say, no. Is this divergence? Yes, you nailed it. Is this divergence? Yes, you nailed it. And then for the rest of your life, you will know what divergence is like. You pick up 2 or 3 things, then leave me in a year, and I can guarantee you, not guarantee you. I can guarantee there'll be a good chance you won't leave. I just told you I've had people for 9 years with me here, and they're still here because there's value in collaborating. We have 250 sets of eyeballs looking for opportunity and mistakes. So we will avoid most mistakes, and we will have way more opportunities. Somebody brought me a couple of tickers today I've never heard of that I remembered. I forgot what it was. Was it Arch, ARCH? And another that was rallying big time today. And then I look up in TradeEtics, and one of them was at the top of the volume of calls. So they were watching the right things. Okay, so here's divergence today. This was the reason. Look, stock rallying, right? The internals are rallying. What are the internals? Whatever they are, you pick them. This is RSI. This is amplified RSI. This is rate of change. You can put whatever you want in here. It'll be moving with price. So rally, rally. From here to here, rally, right? You got to hear the internals, the internal strength, relative strength index of that same ticker started falling. Price continued to rise. There's a divergence. I said, I bet you if there's a tool that draws a divergence, it will say the same thing. That's what I said. So somebody said there's a tool in TradingView that does that. So I was like, okay, let's go see that tool. Let me, there's not enough room. That divergence tool from TradingView, boom. There were 7 divergences that they picked up when I saw divergence. So I saw it, I pointed it out. Somebody reminded me of the tool that has divergence built into it. And there is the moment of truth. Falling internals, weakening internals, rising stock. You can't find it today any other time. So, well, you could if you peered into every tick, but this was clear, obvious divergence. That's what caused me to buy a put and share it. It was 53 cents. Matthew sold it for $1.10. So if he did 10, he spent $500. He more than doubled his money in minutes. I can't guarantee you minutes profits worth of doubles all the time, but we have these every day. I can't do all of them because some of them are too fast for me, because as soon as I typed it here, I went into the static chat room, even though I don't promise that fast of a trade over there, to tell them about it. So I went into the static chat room and I said, positive divergence, blah, 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 blah. By the time I came back, it had already fallen. So I could have went to trade and then come back to tell you about it, and you would have missed. Instead, I chose to tell you about it and go tell other people about it. And by the time I came back, I couldn't trade. The Iron Condor, no issues. I put the trade on, shared it, plenty of time. And that played out in a day. So yes, I do trade with real money, but I don't take every trade I share.
Hey, really quick
my
here, Nick.
account would have like, I don't know, 300.
Really quick, Nick. Have to give a shout out here to Jesse. Shout out, Jesse. Welcome to the family. New Inner Circle member for the Options Inner Circle. Welcome. Let's give a shout out there.
I can't get used to that thing. Pew, pew, pew. Okay, so this is the nitty gritty fast trades. What about the big picture, Nick? What can you do for the big picture? Okay, so let's go back 7 weeks. I think so. Here, March 11th. We had the Fed meeting coming up. I forget when it was. and everybody was sweating the Fed meeting. Oh my God, the Fed meeting. So the Sunday night before the Fed meeting, which came on Wednesday, I said the Fed meeting starts on Tuesday. They tell us their decision on Wednesday. I said, here's my plan. Friday, before that weekend, I said, I'm short into Monday because people are going to be scared going into the Fed meeting. That trade played out like a bandit to the minute. Friday morning, I said, I'm buying puts right now. And I saw something and I shared what that something was. I'm not going to go into it now. And we dropped that Friday. We bounced a little bit. We dropped more Monday. And then I sent out a note and I said, my puts played out. I shared them with you. I'm booking them. If you still need protection, you can keep them. I want to be long into Wednesday afternoon because I think the markets will rally in relief after the Fed meeting. Look at what happened. That was the very bottom. Fed meeting, we rallied 11% with one red tick, 11%. So whoever listened to the note 5 weeks ago could have ridden the whole market rally, right? And then here we had one red day. I said, uh-oh, we could fall back down to 436 because that's the target of this pattern that just drew itself. I said, it's not an opportunity to short. It's an opportunity to lock profits, book profits, get defensive and posture in case this happens. They fell to 435 and change. And that's not all of it. Target 2 is 426. So what happens on the rally here, how do we behave against this bunch? We'll decide whether we go to 426 or not, or 420. I'm looking to buy dips. I'm not buying every dip, but I will buy dips. I will buy into 425 if it goes there. I will really buy into 403 or 399 if we ever go there, when we go there, I should say. So I shared the rally from here to here opportunity before the week even started. The rally hadn't even started. The drop hadn't even finished. I didn't nail the bottom, but I definitely nailed the bottom, the start of the rally. I said Wednesday afternoon, that was here. This will happen. I said the rally will happen. They overdid it. So this drop is normal in an abnormal rally. So aside from the day-to-day trades, you also had the benefit, the foresight of somebody telling you, we could rally. Don't be short into Wednesday when everybody's freaking out. Pick up the pieces. If we drop Wednesday, pick them up. We're going to rally in relief. And we did. We overdid it. And before the drop started, one day into the first tick of the drop, I said, whoops, we have a bearish pattern that drew itself. They don't always play out, but if they start, they become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So 436 is the target of it. And it freaked people out, but here we are. So how much is that worth to you? So this is not a trade setup, although I told you how I want to trade the action.
Right.
It wasn't a specific trade setup. I just said, I want to be long into Wednesday. However long is, you sell puts to be long, fine. You buy calls to be long, fine. What ticker do you like?
So this could be the difference between, I guess for a retail trader, like blowing up your account or something like that. But also, for people that have bigger accounts, they have to be extra careful. They have more on the line, so obviously you do want to make sure that you're doing these things with the right mentor.
So the difference really is having a method. If you don't have a method, if you don't have steps 1, 2, and 3, when you're trading for your own self, you're missing a method. You're just winging it. You're not going to win against professionals. This is a competition. When you buy a stock, when you buy a call, when you buy a put, when you sell a call, when you sell a put, when you sell a stock, there's another person or machine on the other end doing the opposite. You don't take them off the shelf. You don't say, okay, I'll buy a little bit of Apple off the shelf. Nope. Somebody sold you the stock because they think you're making a mistake. They think Apple is in danger or it's no longer going up. So they're handing you that trade. So the idea of you trading without a method, you're leaving yourself open to a lot of chance. You're going to need a lot of, now, if you're this lucky, fine. I'm not that lucky. You make your own luck. If you don't have a method, you have more likelihood to not stop out when you need to. not know when to get out, when to book profits, not know when it could be a fake out, not know when you need protection and how to get it cheaply or free, not knowing how to bail out of a bad trade, how to avoid to set up a bad trade, when is not a good time to sell a crypto. Like today, somebody came into the chat room, said, what do you think of this credit put spread? And they shared the specific credit put spread, $20 wide, after the stock had just rallied 2% or 3%. I was like, I don't mind credit put spreads, but I don't do them on a huge up day. I'm selling everything at a discount. And most importantly, I wouldn't do it $20 wide. Why? First, make it $5 wide. Second, why don't you wait until tomorrow? So if they decided to do that, they save themselves a whole bunch of headaches, and they can put the trade on tomorrow for a much better position with a much better outlook. Same parameters, only from a different base. So it will behave better, less of a headache potentially in the future. It was a swing trade opportunity. I can't remember the ticker. The futures contract of the RTY, which is the RTY is the futures contract on the small caps, the RUT. So I've never traded those, but he has. So he came to me with a question and I answered it. All right, so let's see here. I see Melinda's saying, what does short mean? Short is being bearish, taking a position on a ticker, stock, company, ETF, SPX index, that would bring you profits on a drop or a lack of rally in some scenarios. So if you sell a call spread or take a bear call spread, as they say, you don't need a drop to win. You just need it not to rally much. If you buy a put or you buy a put spread, you need a drop to win. Short, typically, if you don't use options, is something I would recommend you never, ever do. Ever. Nobody in my family is ever to short anything outright. But you're saying, oh, only for 5 minutes, not even for 30 seconds. I don't care. The first rule of taking risk, first rule for me, should be for you, is knowing what the consequences are. What happens, worst case scenario? When you short a stock that you don't own, traditionally, you don't know the answer to that question. But I put a stop loss. Stop loss doesn't guarantee you a fulfillment. So you're losing money for as long as that trade is open, for as long as that rally is going on. Yeah, but I can cover it. No, you can't. Sometimes you just can't. Tell that to those who were short GME or Tilray. Tilray in 2018 went from, I don't know, $40 to $300. Nobody survived that short. And there was not enough stock to go around for you to buy. That's how the short squeeze happens. You know how shorting happens? You say, hey, Bob, you have 100 shares of Tilray. Give them to me. And I'm so confident it's going to fall. I'm going to take your stock, sell it at 40, and put the $40 in the bank. I'll return the 100 shares. And I'm expecting stock to fall. Well, the stock starts rallying. 100, I already lost $60 per share. 200, whoa, $160 per share. 300. So meanwhile, you go to cover your short. There's no stock to go around. Where are you going to cover your short? Where are you going to buy stock to give them back to Bob? Meanwhile, Bob is owed 100 shares. Now you have to go buy them for $300 and you can't find them. So what happens? Your broker, because you're not George Soros, will go out and sell everything you own, all other stocks, to get you out of that position at any cost. Your account done blowed up. So no shorting, not even for 30 seconds.
You can also end up owing money to the bank in some cases.
Right,
so.
But good luck collecting on that. Your broker takes the risk on your credit. And then, it's up. That's why they go and liquidate everything, because they have that power.
I think it's important to note now, Nick, that you have, there are people in the chat room that some folks join for the live trades, of course, and the trading. Some people join just for the community, but, I see a lot of folks that also join just for the education, just to learn, because they've either blown up their account 1 or 2 times, or they've heard about it and they don't want to start with the wrong foot.
That is the best reason to join, because I am not the best trader out there. I am putting the best honest effort forward to show you my method and what you need to know at the very least in order to be successful for super long term. This is not a trade alert service. If you log in and the first question you ask, where's today's trade? I'll be disappointed because that's not the goal. I want you to join, start watching, come up with questions. What do you mean? What's this about? What is this? What do you think of this ticker? How about this trade? Before you say, where's that trade? Nothing's free. I'm going to teach you how to set up your own trades and share my trade setups that I think are appropriate. And I do videos. And if you don't watch the videos and you go straight for the trade, you're going to make mistakes because the video has extreme details on who should take which part of the trade, because I share 4 different ways of taking the same trade. Not all of them apply to all of them. So if you have this type of scenario for yourself and you take this part of the trade, you're missing the easy part. So the setups are, I provide, it's not easy to do a 20-minute video or a 15-minute video, but I do it because I think it deserves to be known. Like if I'm putting thousands at risk from taking one trade, I think people should know what it means to sell a put. What are the consequences of selling a put? It's a smart way to go long a stock. Depends with all kinds of caveats. So I never sell a put of a stock I don't want to own, not even for 1 minute. If I don't mind owning that stock, I'm selling puts anytime I want within reason. Depends on the overall environment.
Yeah, and the main thing here, Nick, also is that it's that immediate feedback where like the market could just, these crashes happening in a matter of minutes and everything is, up in the air and you're trying to figure out what's going on. You do the worst mistake ever. You turn on the news and really, not having that community and your guidance on immediate feedback, live chopping down everything with them. It saves you from blowing up your account, honestly.
I just wish I had this type of a thing going on when I was doing this. So I see one comment from John. Hey, John, ugh, Chromebook. I tell you, I have a suggestion for you. If the Chromebook is a disappointment, I bet you there'll be somebody out there that needs a Chromebook that cannot own a computer. So donate it to somebody. You will get good juju out of it, good karma. And I bet you a good tax deduction that is also a monetary reward from that perspective. Because I'm not sure Benzinga offers an offset of cash payment over a laptop. Besides, the laptop is really nothing compared to the value that's in the learning experience. So I think it's a good compromise to take it and just give it to somebody who could really put it to good use, because maybe it's not good enough because you have better tools right now and it wouldn't do you any good. So how about we do this? Are you okay, Rodrigo, if I just throw out and let's entertain the ticker?
Let's do, okay, so let's do, and I'll give you a little backdrop here too. So the ticker symbol is CRTM. They're like in, I guess, dry bulk and oil shipping. It was a
CRTM.
Yeah, it was a meme stock. I'm sure you've heard about it in the chat room.
This is on the FTSE exchange?
I'm not sure. No. CTRM, my bad. CTRM.
Okay, that's the one somebody asked me about it today. It must have made the round on CNBC. Out of the blue, somebody says CTRM. Whoa, okay, let's zoom out. All right, so I don't know the sticker. Let me see, do I have lines? I do have lines. Okay. Wow, where did these lines come from? I don't even remember ever. No, did it split? Yeah, I must have. These lines don't apply. Look, there's a split right there. Because for some reason, TradingView does not move my notes with the split. So clearly it must have reverse split or something. So when a stock reverse split that much, I stopped trading it. So let me reset. Let me zoom out. There we go. Reverse split was 1 for 20, 1 for 10. So what is a reverse split? Have you heard of a company called Dry Ships, DRYS? I wish I have a snapshot. Its all-time high is a number I can't read. It's like 300 billion or something because of reverse splitting. The only reason a company reverse split is so it doesn't get delisted. It becomes a penny stock, it's valueless, and it delists. So this is clearly not an investment opportunity. I don't know what you say. This is not an investment opportunity. This is a trade opportunity. All right, let's go back to 1 day and reset. Okay, now that I've said my piece, if you bring me a chart like this and you say, what do you think? I'll say, wow, The bulls are in charge clearly. There was a breakout opportunity from 2, the target of which would have been, I could eyeball it. This would have been my target for it. So it still has room to go. The official target is higher because the technicians will tell you it's as big as the bowl. Well, I don't give it full value for the bowl, and it's worked well for me. So my realistic target is here. The actual target is higher, probably closer to 3. And I would also say, if I'm not long, I may be already too late. The easy work has happened. It's going into a prior fail, not an easy long. And unfortunately, it has 1 fail, 2 fails, 3 fails, 4. So which one do you want? It's not like if it takes this one out, I can go, because there's this one and this one and this one. So here's my answer. If you're dying to get long, fine. Take a long and set an amount of money of loss that you're willing to take. So if you risk 1,000 on it, say to yourself, if I lose 200 or 300, whatever number you're comfortable with. I told you I'm chicken when it comes to, if this was fighting, I would take the gloves off and I'll say, okay, we can make it bare knuckles day. But since it's with money, I'll say, you know what, 20%, I'll be out. And so if I lose 20%, I should get out regardless. Now, if I wanted to get long and it dips back to 2, I would buy the dip because that was the breakout line from which it came. So a dip to 2 should find buyers, swing it back up, and it'll get you to 280 or 3. But this is not a stock I would trade, nor would I ever write up about it as a trade setup with a video and all of that. This is a comment intraday. I'm fine with it. This is a daily chart, so we can get granular and see if there's an opportunity intraday. But you can see how it's choppy, even on the 5-minute chart. Yeah, it's definitely nothing I would be actively trading for myself. What else? What other stock reverse split that made news since 2020? Can you think of one? Quiz time. I'll give you a hint. It's got an X in the word. GE reverse split, yes. Weird. I don't know why they did it. They ruined it for me. I was trading it perfectly at low dollar stock. You buy a call, it's cheap, and now it reverse split made everything expensive. Good guess, Charles, but that wasn't what I was thinking about. XLF, did it reverse split? I don't think so. Novavax. I don't think Oxy reverse split either. Novavax is really a $2 stock or something. It reverse split before the pandemic. Had it known the pandemic was coming, it would not have reverse split because it would not have needed it. But then, Novavax reverse split. So when you hear, oh, it's a $50 stock. No, it's not. You got to divide it by, what was it, 1 for 8? The real value is $3. Whoop. 1 for 20. So you divide that value by 20. You get the old school dollar amount for Novavax. I'm not trashing Novavax. I used to trade it when it was 16 pre-split, like in the olden days. I wrote it from 11 to 16, which, by the way, the idea came from somebody in the chat room. Cool story, true story. I swear to God, today, I may be able to get you the screenshot. Today, that person messaged me. I'm hesitant to say what he said, but anyway, this person has been with me for, I would say 9 years. Was a high maintenance person in the beginning, but then he learned the craft and he started selling spreads, nothing but spreads, SPX, nothing but the SPX, 6-figure salary last year. This year so far, he said 205,000 this year so far. Not my words. I can bring the snapshot. I don't want to, actually, because then people will figure it out. People in the chat room will know who I'm talking about. It's unfair to him. I didn't ask his permission. He made 6-figure salary already year to date, selling iron condors on the SPX. That's it. So yes, he does have a big size account, but these trades can be done with a much smaller account with smaller numbers. So, for example, the setups on an SPX iron condor, like the one I took yesterday, that's what he would be doing, is $5 wide. And when I collect $1, I can only lose 4. So if I do one contract in one day, I can make $100 or lose 400. So you're saying, what kind of a whacked out situation is that? And I was like, okay, let me explain it. What if I tell you there's a stock that you need to spend $400 to buy, and you need a rally of 25% in the next 8 hours? Will you take it? I mean, do you have a stock that can do that? Can you tell me with 85% certainty a 20%, 25% rally is going to happen in 8 hours? You can't. And if you can, I'll subscribe to your channel. So these trades deliver that. So $1 divided by 4, that's 25% yield on your risk. So you're risking 400, but not upfront. You're collecting money to open the trade. If go wrong, you could lose 400. And if nothing happens, no rally, no fall, small rally, small fall, you make 25%. The only way you don't make 25% if the unusual happens, because my risk in those iron condors, I only take risk if do you know the bell curve? You know, the plus or minus 1 standard deviation, where everything happens within plus or minus 1 standard deviation, most everything. And then the further out, 2 standard deviations out, almost nothing happens. So it's like you selling insurance to somebody who drives a car that lives in the desert with no neighbors. They're not going to wreck their car. I would sell them insurance. I wouldn't sell insurance to somebody who drives with a teenager who drives in New York City downtown. That he's going to get fender benders all the time. So it's a method that he learned and he's applying over and over and over and over again. All right, we'll do another one. Let's pick up. Give me another ticker. TKR is about the same thing, right? It's a transportation company. For some reason now they're back in style. Weird. And XTD, what is that? Another transportation company? Come on. No. You sure about the ticker? That's not a US market stock. Dash? Okay, we'll do Dash. I haven't looked at Dash in a little bit. All right, check it out. What did I say about Dash? Look at this. These are my lines on Dash. I don't even remember drawing them. By the way, everything is hand drawn. The only tool you see here is what? What can you see? Volume profile. That's it. The rest, all hand drawn, homework and shared. So this is what I call upticks mode. The bears are in charge. This is a daily chart, nothing fancy. Rallies are being sold, rallies are being sold, rallies are being sold. Now this rally has lasted longer than all the other ones. So now we can say they're getting out of this descending channel. Step 1 of establishing a bottom. Stop making lower lows. And now this one already made step 2, which is establish a base below. Sadly, that this is kind of wonky, but support. I called it support. It's holding up. Let's see if it does hold up enough to build a buy the dip mode, buy the dip, buy the dip. So this descending channel. So what I want to know is, has it started building an ascending channel? I don't know. No effort, no clue of it, no evidence of it. There's a hint of it, but no evidence. If this happens and then they go back up, and then this happens and then they go back up, then I'll say, okay, yep, that's the opposite of this. Now we're in downticks mode. Today, the price action in the stock market was all downticks mode. So let me show you how that translates to Dash. Here's a 1-minute chart in the S&P. Every dip they bought, dip bought, dip bought, dip bought, and then they went wacko. If you go to 5 minutes, it's probably like that. Well, it was more violent. Anyway, so back to Dash. On the daily chart, you have reason to be long without any events. There's an event coming early May. So if we go to 2-hour chart, now they're starting to bleed. Now it looks like a head and shoulders. Now they're at risk of going back to 92. So if I'm not long, I would wait to get long at below 95. I may get the opportunity in the next 2 weeks to get long below the. In fact, I'm going to put an alert here.
Hey, Nick. So I know that the last time we met, you said that oil would be the mother of all shorts, and since then, I'm kind of scoping it out. I'm seeing what's happening, but like I know that you're going over several different trends and themes, right? That provide trade ideas. Where are you with oil right now, and like overall, just with the oil, and then we'll get to Bitcoin.
I think it's the biggest hoax on the planet right now. Oil is the definition of, pun intended, rigged game. It is literally, there is a coalition out there called OPEC. It used to be called the ROPEC because of Russia, but I think Russia has its own problems right now. OPEC's job is to screw people out of their money by manipulating supply and price. Their activities are illegal in the United States. You cannot have a coalition in the United States that says, we're here to determine what price and how much of the stuff we're going to put on the market. That is price fixing. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm pretty sure it falls under that category. So whenever you're trading oil, you should know that you're at the mercy of outside forces that have nothing to do with fundamentals of supply and demand. The logic of me thinking it's a hoax is the fact that the pandemic changed the world forever, at least for a decade or two. We're driving less, that's a fact. We're flying less, that's a fact. We are commuting more, that's a fact. Via telecommuting more, that's a fact. Telecommuting used to be a joke. HR departments had, one little tiny section for telecommuting, and it was weird situations. They said, yeah, we telecommute just so it can list it on their job hunting. But now it's a fact. A lot of my friends don't go to work anymore. They work out of their own homes. You can take a job anyway. So you're driving less, and you're driving less fossil fuel vehicles. And the big one is all car manufacturer, not one, not two, not three, not four, all of them said for a fact they will phase out completely all ICE machines. All fossil fuel machines are going to be gone. Where is the upside scenario in oil? Who says we don't have a supply problem in oil? We have a supply policy in oil. The US can produce all the oil it needs. We choose not to, and we choose to go beg for oil somewhere else. That's a policy problem. It's not a supply and demand problem. So I would short every spike in oil, and I bet you if you short it like Soros would, you would come out on top. Oil is, there's no supply crisis. It's a policy crisis. It's not a supply crisis.
So, and now I know that it's obviously the options inner circle chat room, and I know you cover a lot of things there, but it recently, or I don't know how recent, but it's sort of transforming into a massive crypto fanatic room there, right?
Well, there's a lot of crypto interest in there, yes. So I laid out, did I say this already? Stop me if I have. I shared a video. I share videos all the time. Some of them are in crypto, and I laid out my strategy for crypto last October or November. I can't remember. Last year, I saw a head and shoulder forming crypto in Bitcoin. I use the Bitcoin price action to drive my decision-making on all the crypto I want. So if somebody says, I'm looking to buy blah, blah, blah coin, I'll say, well, let's look at Bitcoin, because they all follow Bitcoin to a degree. They move a little bit faster, a little bit slower, depends on the headlines, but I've yet to see one go ballistically this way or that way, where Bitcoin is going the opposite way systemically. So Bitcoin has been my USD, my beacon. It's the chief coin in charge. So this is a daily chart of Bitcoin. Again, no tools here except hand-drawn tools. So what I saw is a vulnerability in the chart that said, if you lose the mid 40s, you're going to fall to 20 in several steps. The potential is to fall to 20. That's the head and shoulder target. I didn't make this stuff up. These are rules from chart patterns that have proven themselves right over the years. Not all of them fill. That's why I said it has the opportunity to get to 20. So I didn't say sit tight until it gets to 20. I said, here's my plan. That was months ago. My plan is to buy a first batch of crypto, whatever the coins are, and I shared my 3 coins and the reasons why. I said I will buy the first batch of 3 at 33, 35. It got down to 33. I was sitting on the couch, bought my coins. We got a 40% rally. I said, I'm not selling them because this was my 3rd refill. So as soon as I bought them, I also staked them. If you don't know what that means, the simple part of that is me locking my coins, committing to my coins 3 months. So I cannot, I would get penalized if I would sell my coins. But if I don't, then I get, I earn 6%. 6 or 3. Some were 6, some were 3. And so I said my second batch of coin, I would buy at 28. So I said Bitcoin can negate that scenario if they can recover and hold 46. They recovered 48, but then they didn't hold it. They went back to where they went back. I said, if they lose 33, that second leg starts. The target of that should be 28, 25. I would get long there. Second batch of 3. And my third batch would be in the low 20s. And I may double up on it. So I will choose to do that when, if and when that happens. So I'm not bearish Bitcoin. I am optimistic crypto. I'm a proponent of crypto. I try to convince as many people that I can meet. You should be in crypto. You should buy some coins. You should open an account, because here's the simple logic. Have you ever had anything in your life that didn't go digital? Your phones went digital, your computers were digital, but they went ballistically digital. Your house is digital now. I talk to my lights. I talk to my heater. Most people are going there eventually in the first world. So everything is digital. Banking is digital. You hardly go to a bank. Some banks don't even have physical locations anymore. Money will go digital. It's a fact. Unless we have zombies walking the street and we had complete calamity, we're going to go digital money. I'm not saying that Bitcoin will be our currency, but these are the currencies that are laying down the foundation. And maybe it'll be like the metaverse. So if you think about it, the metaverse, go watch a couple of movies like WALL-E, for example. The metaverse is in WALL-E, the whole concept, the cartoon. And also there's a movie called Surrogates. Gives you the idea of, okay, so if I'm going to spend my social media time, instead of looking at Snapchat, okay, double click, I like this one, I like that one. No, I'm going to be living in this metaverse, doing the same things. I'm going to need metaverse money. So maybe you use a few dollars to buy your groceries, but then you need more dollars to live your fake life in the metaverse. So
yeah,
it's going to be, it's going to be all kinds of coins. So get used to knowing them now and dealing with them now. They're setting the baseline for the future.
So Nick, and as far as like, so people are and pretty obviously, saying that like the next world war, already started, and it's not military, it's cyber, and it's been happening. So what are you looking at? Like, are you looking at the cyber sector, things like CrowdStrike? What do you see in that sector happening with everything?
I don't chase memes like that. That's for CNBC watchers. That is ridiculous. Here's what it's not ridiculous. You mentioned CrowdStrike. This was my trade on CrowdStrike. Get long down here, exit up here. Simple. I don't care what it does. I saw a pattern. I shared it. That's all there is to it. These are my lines on CrowdStrike based on patterns that I saw. Whatever they do, I don't care. I know their fundamentals. The fact that it's a cybersecurity company scares me. And I'm always baffled. What was it? FireEye? Who got hacked? FireEye. If a cybersecurity company gets hacked, who goes to them after that? It's like, what? No, you're not getting my money. Give me my refund. I'll go to CrowdStrike. But then that's going to happen to CrowdStrike. You can't stop the hacks. If they want in, they're going in. You can make it a little bit more difficult. So I don't chase memes like that. I look at this company and I pull up its fundamentals. They look pretty solid. Look at this sales growth. The blue line is revenue growth. Unfortunately, it's also spending a lot of money, but that's not a deal killer. I mean, you can't grow without spending money. So this is where I go into to see if they're bleeding cash. And good news, they're not. They generated last year almost 600 million in cash from operations. That's outstanding. They're not bleeding cash. Why is that important? Rates are rising. You're not going to be able to borrow to exist and feed that growth. They can. They're bringing their own cash. That was the changing factor in Tesla. They went from bleeding cash to generating last year, $12 billion in cash from operations. So anybody that makes fun of Tesla as a company fundamentals, they need a reality check. It's stronger than GM and Ford from that perspective. Damn, Ford.
Nick,
Somebody asked me twice today to talk about forward short. I forgot. I need to remind myself tomorrow.
Really quick here, since I know that you do cover a lot of things in the market. So, for example, there's a lot of conversation always about this inverted yield curve and rates and the Fed. What's your stance on that? And how are you guys in the chat room positioning yourself for that or not?
The Fed needs to be in jail. That's what it needs to be. They are, or at least apologize for being completely wrong or misleading us on purpose. How long? Transitory. We're like, transitory, what are you talking about? Transitory. It was a play on word. What they meant by transitory, I didn't figure it out until last year. Late last year, he actually said, somebody asked him, what do you mean? What's the definition of transitory? Because we certainly don't know what it means. Turns out, sure enough, I didn't know. I thought they meant by transitory that the inflation was going to drop. That's not what they meant. What he meant was that the rate with which it was rising was transitory. So it was not going to be spiking, and he was dead wrong. It accelerated even faster. So they didn't say, sorry, we got it wrong. They said, oh, it's time to retire that word. That's what he said. Like, okay, so where's the apology, dude? Now they want to destroy the economy that they spent $5 trillion saving. They belong in jail, or they owe us a huge apology as to what they did. That aside, I don't think them raising rates is going to cause a recession. I take cues from a guy named Tony Dwyer. Super cool guy. You've seen him on CNBC. I don't follow him for anything else. Every once in a while, I seek his opinion on the inversion of the yield curve, because he seems to say things that make sense, and I'll share it with you if you want. So the idea of the inversion of the yield curve bringing in the recession, here's how it happens. So the idea is the yield curve should look this way. So the rates for longer terms should be higher than shorter terms, right? When the olden days, you locked your CD for 10 years, they gave you a bigger reward than if you lock it for 3 months, they give you a tiny reward. That's a normal yield curve, should be like this. Well, when you invert it, it means that the short-term rates are bigger than the long-term rates. That doesn't make sense. So what happens is the assumption, it brings a recession because growth is fueled by borrowing. Banks lend longer term. They borrow short term. So CNBC tracks the 2-year to 10-year. You've heard Santelli say the 2s to 10s. Right? That's what he means. The difference between the 2-year yield and the 10-year yield, if the 2-year yield gets bigger, then you've got an inverted yield curve, and it did invert recently for like a day. That foretells a recession. Well, Tony's point is that you're looking at the wrong curves. So the wrong curve. You shouldn't compare the 2s to the 10s. You should compare the 3 months to the 5-year. So I was like, why? So he said banks don't borrow at the 2-year level. They borrow closer to the 3-month level. And the average yield term of bond is 6.5 or 6.25, whatever it was, years. So the 3 months to the 5-year is a better comparison of the yield curve slope. And if you look at that, it's actually accelerating, not inverting. So usually both yield curves move together, those two, the 2s to 10s and the 3 to the 5. Now he's saying the 2s to the 10s is inverting and the other ones is accelerating. So he said, you may get a tougher time economically, but it doesn't necessarily bring a recession because the one curve that actually matters is going in the size of so the banks are still more incentivized to lend even still now. And he said we have record reserves, so they have the most amount of deposits ever on record. So they don't even need to borrow money. They have it already in deposits. So they're not going to be able to slow down the economy is what I'm saying.
So there is also, like, let's say is a possibility that even if the Fed raises rates, inflation still goes nuts.
We're going to have to live with inflation. And I'm okay with inflation because it's not stopping me from spending yet. But it will hit that level where I say, what? $10 for milk? Nope, I'm not buying it. It'll fix itself. It'll fix itself. The fact that we need to fix inflation, what they're going to do, these idiots, they're going to overdo it. They overdid it with the free money out of the pandemic. They're going to overdo it with the poison. So they gave us too much medicine, and now they're going to give us too much poison. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. You'd think that they're professionals, they know what they're doing. They're just winging it. So they're going to see the economy not slow down. And they focus on wage inflation. Thank God they don't measure inflation. The CPI is broken. So they focus on wage inflation. So my guess, if you want my opinion, the government's going to cook the books on wage inflation. So to give the Fed cover of not having to raise a lot of rates, because it's going to have the opposite effect. The economy is going to continue to be strong. And I bet you anything, we will make new all-time highs in the next 3 months. There. Boom. We have a good chance of making new highs this year. The market did not top without a new shoe to drop. I put that caveat in there. If the war in the Ukraine doesn't exacerbate the fact and it spills over borders into NATO, for example, NATO countries, and or if we don't get a new shoe to drop where they need to lock down the world again, we should make new highs before we crash 20%.
Right. And that whole thing with Russia and Ukraine, I mean, you know, these countries are going to be sanctioned, and they're almost like barely operating like Ukraine, as you know. So like there's going to be impacts of this, right, throughout the supply chain.
There already is. You can't find whatever they sell. Whatever they exported now is in short demand, short supply. So somebody mentioned agri. You're going to need to focus on food companies, because, you know, more so than oil, I believe that there could be a food shortage if some food sources came from there. So, but oil, we totally have the opportunity. So focus on companies like Potash and Mosaic, who actually bring superfoods, basically allow us to grow superfoods. And people who just want to eat, what do you call that? Organic might be screwed a little bit, because you may not be able to find as much organic unless you grow it yourself. So yeah, some things may change, but to Wall Street, Wall Street hates change. The change already happened on 2/24 when we woke up and we found out that there was war in the Ukraine. Flash crash, the day closed green, we never looked back. We had a flash crash before that on 1/24, exactly a month earlier, from Bullard, my least favorite person out there, flapped his lips, caused a flash crash, we recovered. So now these two headlines have played out. What does that mean? Okay, they're bad things, but Wall Street knows what they are. They've priced them in and they're living with it. And now they start looking forward. And now they have to deal with the Netflix scenario. And then after that, they will focus on whatever headline comes out. Remember when the shutdown happened, the government shutdown the first time? We treated it like it was the end of the world. And now we have shutdowns all the time. No big deal. They've seen the scenario before. It's not a question mark. So they can forecast it, react to it, and move on. Valley, I don't know. I don't remember Valley. So let's go.
I think it's mining. But the other thing I just wanted to say, Nick, really quick. I remember last time when Netflix dropped, it brought everything down. But I mean, you can look at it later. But, you know, like to see if it really brought the other group of stocks there with them and such.
It will have a negative effect. And so tomorrow, if you look actually after hours today, first of all, my write-up said whatever happens with Netflix is going to bleed into the other stocks that look like it. And I immediately identified the Fang Gang and Microsoft and Apple. I also added Roku and Disney. And I said, I hate the fact that Roku is up 9-10%, whatever ended up. And everything is up into the reaction, but I love it because the NASDAQ was so close to triggering a bearish pattern that wasn't that bad. But if it filled that bearish pattern that wasn't that bad, it may have endangered triggering something that's really bad. The 224 zone, the lows of February, if we lose them, they will automatically trigger a major drop in the market. 6 to 20%. Yes, I know it's a wide range, but 6 to 20% are on the table. That's not my forecast. My forecast is that we hold. And up until today, I was like, oh, geez, we're so close to these triggers. And then today's rally, I said, gives us room to drop with disappointment from Netflix and not trigger anything inadvertently. So it's almost like the market makers know what they're doing and they're just moving everything according to what they want. So tomorrow will be difficult. For example, here is Facebook after hours in the face of Netflix. Let's show you Roku. So Facebook is down a little bit. Roku is down 6 or 7%. It was worse. So if you wanted to go long Roku and you had missed it today, there's your opportunity. 15 minutes. Let me take out these. There's your opportunity to maybe consider some Roku long on its own merit, because it is cheap. It is sold off too much. And if somebody wants it for the long term, look at it. Wow, right? So this is the pandemic area. So this is where the whole world was shut down and Roku is there now. It doesn't make sense. They blamed the shortage of chips because they make money off of, which I didn't know, I learned that new. They make money off of software licensing that go into TVs. So if they're not selling as many TVs, they're not making as much money off of that, and not as many TVs out there being watched. So fewer opportunities to stream. That's kind of a stretch, but that's what the bearish write-up about it. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll take results over theory any day. And if I look at Roku's results, it's like, okay, so where is that pain? Where is it showing up? Let me see, 320 million, 3 billion almost, 2.8 billion. I don't see a slowdown in the growth rate. So until I see the slowdown, I don't think I should anticipate it. Show me where it's happening. So I drill down to the quarterlies. It's pretty erratic, 11, 26, 43, minus 11, 12, 5, 27. So you can still average it about the same. So Roku is a legitimate long-term quote investment. It's not bleeding, but it's not making a lot of cash from its own operation. So that's somewhat of a concern. So value-wise, we go into value. And let me see, did I click on the right one? Maybe not. This thing is in my way. Statistics, yeah. So price to sales, 5.5 price to sales. That's cheaper than Apple. This PE, who cares? It's a growth company, but even then, 63, at least it has a PE, right? It's not cheap, but this is cheap. Why am I concentrating on the price to sales? Because the price to sales is an appropriate metric for growth companies. So for example, when Zoom at the top of the pandemic was selling at $1 billion a share, its price to sales was 125. So if you bought shares at the peak, you were giving Zoom 125 years worth of credits, worth of sales at the same time. So you're saying they're growing so fast that they're going to normalize that number. Amazon, the mother of all growth companies, is under 4. Zoom was 125. So that came back to life, to reality, and now it's under 10, I think. So what happened? The price fell and the sales continued to grow. So it was perfect. Price to sales, you take the price and you put it in a ratio to its sales. So you see premium. What are the expectations of the owners? Right now, it's only 5. So those who buy the shares now are only giving it 5.5 years worth of credits. That's a pretty realistic to a company that grows 20 to 40% a year. So it is a bargain from that perspective. It may fall from here, but if I buy half a position, I add the second half after it crashes even more, I'm in like Flynn for the long term as an investment, not a trade. As a trade, I can come up with 3-4 different ways to trade it, but that's a different conversation.
Right. And Nick, for example, there's a lot of chatter there about the housing market. What's your, how are you feeling about the housing market in general?
You're hitting me on all buzzwords. Okay, the housing market. I hate it. I don't hate it. I'm concerned. I'll give you an idea. Zillow, maybe Zillow is the best example. If I was just to look at Zillow stock and I go to a weekly chart, it makes sense that it's a good place to buy. This is the pandemic low-ish, middle of the pandemic. It's where it was before the pandemic. So hey, it makes sense to get long. Nice flat bottom. This is a weekly chart. So these are long-term stints. So this is a full week. So that's a month, another bounce here, hard bounce. Now here we are on a proven level of support around 44. So if I were an investor, I say, you know what? They defended 44 like hell. That should be a base. It should be 55 or 60 next. Under normal circumstances, I would take that risk. However, I've said to the members that I would avoid it, even though it looks like it fits my parameters, it has a good P&L, it's growing well, it's not bleeding too much cash. I would avoid it for the sake of the unknown, the question mark that comes from rates. I have a small variable mortgage left on my house. I got adjusted 1.5 this month, 1.5. I was on 2.5%. My next payment will be on 4%. Luckily, it won't matter much for me. It was a tiny loan left over from when I bought the house. But if somebody has $1 million house or a $600,000 loan, that's a good chunk of change. And not everybody's on a variable rate, but I'm speaking to the mortgage rates. If the mortgage rates jump this much, anticipating a mean Fed, that's going to put a crimp on the real estate market altogether. So all the Pulte Group, KB Homes, they all look like this. They all look like good bargains. I would avoid them. And here's the simple logic. If they're rallying, the markets are rallying. Why would I want to take on that extra risk of mortgage rates that hit them specifically? So I wouldn't do it. Same with BABA. I love BABA. I think it's a bargain. I wouldn't touch it because of if BABA's rallying, the whole market's rallying. Case in point today, the whole market's going through the moon and BABA was down in the morning. Was it down? Okay, down 1.2% when the market couldn't stop rallying. Why? I don't want that extra juju that it has from the Chinese headlines. So
Yeah, and what's the deal with the transports, Nick, right now in the railroads?
I don't know. I haven't looked at them in a while. So I'll go to IYT. That's the transport ETF. They're busier than ever. Technically, this weekly chart says if it loses 239, 238, I will put a very, very scientific note to myself. So this could bring 220 to 10, 215. Do I have lines? Maybe I do. I do not. So buy the dip opportunity kind of worked. And I'm going to move it to here because I don't remember doing that. I'm going to say beware of the potential sloth. This is a support level that needs to hold. And if it doesn't, it may trigger some selling. It would look like a head and shoulders, not quite yet, but it's a neckline that needs to hold. And it brings you back to the neckline from here, which would be a buying opportunity. So here's what I'm going to do. These two candles are pretty strong. So I'm going to put an alert for myself right inside these two candles. I'm going to say to myself, start looking for a credit put spread. See how fast I tapped that credit put spread? I'll teach you how to do that too. So I don't know what's going on with the transport. So let's look at, I imagine FDX and UPS are, now I remember. Okay.
That's what I mean. That's what I was trying to say, man. It's just crazy.
Okay, so this is a big component of the IYT, right? So this is FDX. Up here, I said maybe it's drawing. Let me see, the daily chart maybe shows it better. Okay. One of those Sundays, somebody asked me about FDX. I said, maybe we're doing this to test this. And if we don't bounce and fail, maybe we do this. And guess what? This is what Bitcoin is doing. Bitcoin lost this level and it hasn't recovered it. It had one poke at 48,000, just like this one did, and then failed. But except Bitcoin is still above its 33. That's the 33 level of Bitcoin, basically. So this is the same strategy. You had a neckline you needed to hold. You lost it. You tried to recover it. A couple of times you failed. Third time you did it, but then you couldn't hold it. And now you're back down close to where you just bounced. God help you if you lose this one. So if I were to add another line to this, God, this bar keeps getting in the way. Can I move it to the side? Anybody knows Zoom? So if I were to add a line here, I would say you're going to bounce and you're going to find sellers, and then you're going to come back down and retest this one. And if you don't bounce here, you're going to finish the job. So finish the red job. What happens on the bounce? And the problem is, see that orange line? This line I didn't draw. That's the amount of volume that is, okay, the amount of volume that is lurking above. You've heard the term overhead supply on Wall Street, which means sellers just waiting to sell. That's the physical look of it. What does that mean? This right here, these three humps, That's a lot of volume by far. So these volume bars here don't tell you much. The volume bar up here, it's the same data, only they tell you at what level. So this says that once it gets to 220, they're going to be super active. Why? It's not an opinion. That's what they do all the time. That's why these bars are so big. So whoever was active there, they're going to activate again. So if you're rallying, you hit a jam, a traffic jam, and you slow down. So it's going to be resistance. Earnings are not coming for a month and a half, it looks like. So FDX is on its heels. It cannot help the IYT. So what about UPS? Okay, UPS, these are a base for a massive rally, support, decent entry. That was my comment on it. So big rally, bounce, 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 bounce. My assumption it will bounce again. I can take a long, agnostic to the fact that FDX is in trouble, based on the chart and the knowledge that it's a good company, busier than ever, inefficient now because it's so busy, so it's not making as much money as it can. But being super busy is a great problem to have. Remember Starbucks when they sold the stock because it had too many people in line? What? You mean to tell me you just shorted the stock because it has too much sales? What? Who gave you your license to trade? So I think it rallies. So it's a good entry point, better entry point. So how do I do this? I would do a credit put spread and a debit call spread. What does that mean? It means I get long via the options with very little money out of pocket, and I leave room for error should anything go wrong. That's what I would do with that one. So to answer your question, well, how are the transports doing? They're in danger, but this one's tradable. The other one is shortable. If you want to buy puts, once it loses that white arrow. Okay, how much more time do we have? What time did we start? So we're inching up on 2 hours. So I'm going to give you the 10-minute mark because I have 2 write-ups to do, and I have to do research for tomorrow. So I don't do the research during open hours. I have to pick. Okay, so inside, this is a list of stocks I picked out of the 150 charts that you guys asked for. Well, not you guys, my members asked for. These are the ones that caught my attention. Coupa, which already played out. Adobe, I wanted to get long. Mio already played out. Microsoft earnings play. MU, I wanted to get long. Look at it today. Citigroup was a good long. It may still be. Maybe, it's halfway through to my perceived target. So it is still there, but you want to see what happens here. So anyway, I need to go through these and pick candidates for sharing for tomorrow. So I'm not like trying to get in right away. So maybe it'll be Roku. Catch a falling knife if Roku doesn't have earnings soon. They're coming soon. Can't do that. Why not? Because earnings are a blind spot. Like today, who thought Netflix is going to drop 20%? I thought it was going to drop, but not 20%.
So also important to note that you do provide earnings play, Fed meeting plays, all that sort of stuff, preparation.
That's what I started with. Yes, I supplied today's write-up was an earnings play on Amazon and on Netflix. It was short Netflix, get long the Qs. So
right. Okay, so we've gone over housing, transports, tech, different sectors, cybersecurity as well. And you provide insight on different things, including crypto and stuff like that. What are some things you guys are looking at in the chat room? Some interesting stuff we haven't gone over.
In the chat room, in the live room, they're obsessed about finding intraday moves, and some people want to talk a little bit long term. Like today, somebody was asking me about Ford, and I apologize, I don't remember who it is. Tomorrow, I'm going to have to ask. They asked me twice to look into Ford. They are short Ford based on my chart, and I think they're asking if they should book it or not. Look at that. I said 14 from up here. I said long at 7, and then it got to here, and I said no. And look at it here. I'll answer his question tomorrow. So in the live room, we're doing that kind of stuff. Fast trade opportunities for quick profits with very low risk and very finite risk. Here's when I get in, and here's the target, and this is your stop out. So if you're actively trading, it's almost hard to mess up. You will not have just wins. You will have wins and losses, but the wins will be massive, and the losses, if you do your stops, should be pretty good, well under control. And we also discuss opportunities to short and go long. Somebody asked me today about Upstart. I said, well, I shared the long in Upstart 3 times already, and we nailed it. Who did that? That's a crazy stock to trade. So they said, do you like it here? That was a couple of days ago. I said, yeah, I think you can do this. It has support. I would sell a put spread. This way, I don't have to worry about how much or if it's going to rally. All I needed to know is it's not going to collapse. And worst case scenario, I end up buying shares at 65. Sweet, I'll take it. So it's a strong P&L. Same discussion went for SE the other day, yesterday or 2 days ago. I said long term, it doesn't make sense. It's falling like it's going out of business. And this is a business that looks like Amazon, Square, and Microsoft put together. They have an e-platform, e-tail, online retailer platform, a financial tech platform, and a gaming platform, all in one company. And look at this P&L. The fact that they spend money now, Wall Street hates it. But they don't burn cash, I don't think. Let me double check. I think they generate their own cash. So yeah, they spend a lot of money, but it's by design. So this is the closest to Amazon I've ever seen. Yep, they don't bleed. They have 200 million in positive cash flow from their operations. So it's not like they're burning the churn and burn like Tesla used to. It's not. So SE is good. So we're looking for long-term opportunity. We're looking for swing term, swing for like 2 to 3 weeks. That's what I like. We're looking for fast trade opportunities. There's a little bit of everything. It's hard to believe, but the community has grown to a degree where there is no common denominator. The only common denominator is to avoid silly mistakes. Turn off the news. That's the best thing you can do for yourself. Develop a method. Let me show you something. Let me show you a few things. How often do I type a few things, right? So here's me every day saying, my gospel is one thing, and which is you have to trade with purpose. Write this down. This is a lesson. Watch this. I'm going to hit 4 buttons. Okay. I'm going to say NT, NT. No trigger, no trade. Okay. If you take trades, positions in anything without specific purpose, if you don't have a thesis, and I thought it was going to go up. Nope. I thought they were going to kill earnings. Nope. You need a reason. Or a trigger on the chart. If you're a chartist, no trigger, no trade. Okay. So you need that. That's rule number 1 of taking a setup. Why are you taking the trade? Because if you come to me and say, Nick, I'm in trouble with this trade, my first question would be, why did you take it? And it sounds antagonistic, but it's not. I really want to know why did you take it? And the second one is manage the risk, not the size of the risk, the odds of the risk. So if you've done options, when you buy an option, most of you just buy options. When you buy an option, you know exactly what your odds of success are. If you don't know that, then somebody didn't teach you the very basic thing about options. The theoretical success of that trade you took is on paper. It's available to you in a piece of paper. You say, oh, my odds are 14%. And if that's too low, and it's pretty dang low, 14%, you better take that money out of there because it's just slated to die. So it is 14%, that's too low. So this way, you take your risk, you say, okay, I'm going to risk $500, and you take your odds, I'm going to put it with 30% odds, and 50% is a coin flip. So 30% is pretty close to a coin flip. That's a good, reasonable expectation. It's a nice sweet spot for me. If I'm buying options, I want 33. So 0.33 delta or so like that, 0.35 delta. I don't go lower than that. If I do, it's for specific reasons. So you start with a delta of 0.3, and then price moves, time passes. You look at your delta, and it's like, oh, shoot, it's not 0.15. Well, that's toast. You take what's left of the money. You look at the reason why you took the trade. If that reason's still there and you think you just ran out of time, you redeploy that same money, not more, that same money somewhere else with better delta. But it's more expensive, Nick. Yes. So it means if you had 5 contracts, you just redeploy 2. Why? Because you're no longer trying to make money. You're trying to get back some of the money you lost. So you redefine the trade to being hostile. And if you no longer still believe in the trade, then you should just save that last bit of money, because all you got left is hope. And hope, as they say, is not a strategy.
Right. Good stuff there, Nick. Absolutely, man. And yeah, we've gone over. Do you want to go over a couple trade ideas there from the folks in the chat?
We'll do a couple of charts and then I have to go.
Cool. All right. So let's see.
Let's go with Ride. Somebody said Ride. Could go down, but Foxconn could sign what to build what? I don't know what that is. So Ride is one of those companies that has no P&L, right? So therefore, it's the whole price of the stock is all hope. I'm going to give you the first piece of advice here. Do not average down in the stock. In fact, do not ever average down in anything. I don't know one professional trader that's worth his money or her money that averages down. When you average down, you say, oh, shoot, I was wrong. Let me double my problem. What? So you average in. My Bitcoin scenario was averaging in. I knew my maximum risk. I deployed one part of it, knowing that I will deploy the other part lower and the other part lower. That's averaging into one full-size risk, not I took all my position and then it got cut. It's like, oh, let me make my problem bigger. And then got cut. Oh, let me make my problem bigger. You did that with Hyliion, you went bankrupt on that trade, right? So this is a trade, not an investment. There is no way you can convince me this is an investment. This is just a trade. As a trade, this stock here is a better buy than sell. It's close to a bottom. You can take a long and say, I'm willing to risk 20% to see if it's going to jump up from here based on the 2-hour chart. I know nothing about their earnings. I know nothing about a Foxconn build out or anything. The bears are in charge completely. If you want to buy a long position off of support, that's your only hope from the chart. And even then, it's a risky bet. This is not the type of stock I would share with my members because why? It's like buying, like if you go to a restaurant and you see a nice veggie burger, you see a nice regular burger, and then you see escargot and you order the escargot. Why would you want to eat snot when you got meat or fake meat that tastes good? No. When we run out of good stocks to trade, then I'll go into this one. No offense to the people at Ride. It's the stock that trades crappy. Why bother with it? The company is great. The trucks are great. The people are great. They're putting forth a good effort. Wall Street hates them. Don't fight the tape. Okay. What's next? You like that, Ken? I'm here all week. What's left? Agri. I already talked about Agri. Give me a stock that people want to trade. Come on, give me one. Don't make me pick. SPCE? Okay. All right, so I hear chatter. Somebody popped into the chat room today that I'll do Qualcomm too. And Qualcomm is the last one. They said it could be bought out. Like, okay, so and the stock is only up 3%. That was earlier today. My take on SPCE, I'm an engineer. So I love technology. I like Star Trek. I'm a fan of the Next Generation TNG, if you followed that, the Picard series. So it's all about the future with this guy. The fundamentals don't matter now. If you believe in space travel for a business transporting people into space, this is the only viable tradable option now. This is the only publicly traded company that will one day maybe transport people into space for a living. And so this is the kind of stock you just stash it and forget about it and see what happens. So you can try to pinpoint an entry, or on crashes, you sell puts every week, hoping to get assigned. So if you want to own 1,000 shares, you sell 10 puts every week and you see if you get assigned. If you don't get assigned, you made money out of thin air. Or if you want to own 1,000 shares, you sell 5 puts and buy 5 in the money call leaps. So then you're long with very little money. If it spikes to high heaven, you're already long. If it doesn't, then you're already long, but lower price. So great. So sell a put to own shares, half of the lot. Buy an in the money call if you want to be long in case it spikes. Qualcomm. It was one of my list. I can't remember when, but it fell into a tradable bottom and it then bounced off of it. So this is a 1 week. I'll go to a daily. To tell you the truth, I lost track of what they do for a living, but this was my forecast for it. So I said, I don't trust the markets. I trust the support. So I said, my way of trading this is by selling a put spread to create income out of thin air. And that played out. I said, if you would like, you can buy a call spread as well, or instead, depends on your style of trading. But buying calls and hoping for a rally is pretty risky business when the markets are on teetering. But it fell into support. It needs to get above 146. Otherwise, it's still in trouble. Even if it gets to 150, what you don't want to happen, even if my upside scenario happens, you don't want them to fade into resistance. Remember this line, 153. You don't want them to fade and then come back and retest this floor. And if you lose that floor, you may bounce one more time, and then you may do one of these. You have to look left. Okay, so they bounce here and then do one of these. And here's how this thing happens. Why? It looks like, I don't have proof of it yet, there is a descending channel. So they're selling rips. So you can see rallies here being sold. I even have a template for it. Sell pop. So they're selling pops. That's one pop it's sold. That's another one. That's another one. And the question is this one? This one is a question mark. Even though I said go long, it's a trade, not an investment. I don't know what's going to happen when they hit its descending channel. So this is the question mark right there. Do you use the sale of a put spread to finance buying call spread? Well, that's the idea, Chris. So if you guys don't know, and ladies, selling a put spread, it's also called a bull put spread, credit put spread, whichever you use terms for it. It's basically, how about this? In order to profit by buying shares or buying calls, you need to know where a stock is going within a certain period of time. The time element is more crucial for buying shares, buying calls rather than shares, but it's still an element for both. You don't want to sit on your money for a decade. So versus what is easier, doing that or guessing wherever else is not likely going to go. I'll give you an example. I'm confident saying that Apple will not be at 130 in the next month. I am not as confident saying Apple will be at 175 next month, right? So I can make money off of my statement, and the only way I can lose is if it collapses. That's the only way I can lose. Any other which way, I make my full profit. So I can do that all day, all year for base hits, 10 to 20% yield on these risks. I'll do that all day, every day. All right. I think I'm tapped out. I appreciate Rodrigo's help. I think he's going to hang around to answer whatever questions I wasn't able to answer.
Yeah, definitely. Any closing remarks here on your end on why the folks should, tune into the chat room and trade there with the community here?
I want to give you a piece of advice. So I gave you one piece of advice. Can anybody write it down? What were the acronyms that you need to have in your vocabulary? Anybody? Impress me. Oh, okay. Hopefully there's a delay. I'll write it. Okay. Yes. Look at that. Oh, my job is done. And NX. Close enough, Jocelyn. So NT, please be specific why you're taking the trade and be honest with yourself as to the reason why. Be specific. NT, yes. No trigger, no trade. And the T could be thesis. No thesis, no trade. Some people don't know charts. And if you don't know charts, join a group that can help you. I help people with charts all day, every day. I swear to you, I answer at least 200 charts a day. On Sunday, I have proof. I do 150 and I share them. And all week, it's mind-numbing, but it's so fruitful because it's so important. You have somebody that can lend you help with the charts anytime you want it. You pop in, you can't be there, you take a lunch break. Help me. I have this stuff. What do I do? Boom, right there. I'd be shocked if you get in there and you don't find your money's worth. I would be absolutely shocked. I'm realistic with the expectations. I told you, if you're looking for a perfect trade alert, this is not the goal. I try to be perfect with my trade alert. There's no way to be that. Trades are not foolproof. I designed them to be 85% successful, and that's what they play out. I appreciate it, George. Yeah. This is like this all day, every day. I promise. What we just did all day, every day. I'm talking my head off. Like I hear 10, 20 times a day. Is Nick on mute? Nick on mute? Yeah,
Nick,
Nick is on mute. He needs to
you're
take
like a
breath.
radio. It's like taking, so to describe it perfectly, it's like having a live radio, live Nic Chahine radio that shows screens, responds to you immediately, and like a training partner, basically.
Yes. So join the group. I'm confident you'll like it. And if you don't, Benzinga will give you your money back, guaranteed. We can talk, we crack jokes too. There's a whole bunch of jokes going on too. We have a couple of jokes are in there. One jumps to mind, Brad Zinga. So Brad has named himself Brad Zinga, and he's cracking jokes all the time. Every once in a while, the Lebanese in me comes out, and I lose patience with something, either the keyboard or someone, and I get short. But there is nobody judging anybody in there. Everybody's comfortable to the point to where one person shared his platform. He pasted his trades right there for everybody to see. All right, I'm going to bow out. You have control. I'm going to say thank you, everyone. Hopefully, I'll see you in there. Give it a look. I mean, it sounds like a lot of money. Trust me, it's a drop in the bucket. I made more mistakes. You can either pay this or make your own mistakes and pay more.
Right, definitely agree with that, Nick. So shout out, man. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in the chat room in the morning. And I'm going to stay here just going over the chat room, show them a couple things here that you've got for them.
I appreciate it. You're welcome, James and Jocelyn, everybody, Raj. Hopefully I'll see you there. You'll have fun. There's plenty of people like you in there. I promise. It's like I'm talking to them right now. I'm out. Peace.
All right. Thanks a lot, Nick. And folks, I just want to show you here really quick the education videos that Nick has only for the Inner Circle members. Again, you know, what are options? What are puts? What is a spread? Call options, definitions, credit put spreads, when to book or set a stop loss, when and how to book profits, breakout versus swing trades, what type of trade is best.
Hey traders, quick lesson on the difference between the SPX and the SPY. Really
all right, so, and then you have the other one, how to pick what type of trade, you know, to use, right? Buy call, sell puts, do a spread, do a put calendar, you know, that sort of stuff, right? So full on education mode here. This is basically the starter kit. I personally think that this is really all you need to get started. And, you know, this is a pretty raw way of putting it, right? Because it's not like a full year course of like taking chapters on this, but really has everything you need to hit the, you know, to just start running, right? Knowing your definitions, knowing the risk that is associated with each type of trade, this is where you need to go. If you're only trading calls and puts, my friend, please check this page out. This is, you know, consider it like a crash course, right, on options. So that is the educational resource library for members. Then you have the Inner Circle chat room. Again, this is how it looks like. This is one chat room. This is a blue chat room, the main one. And you'll see you have two channels, right? So one of them is called Inner Circle Chat. That's where everybody is posting. James, good question. Does Nick cover sweep calls and puts? Yes, he does cover everything related to puts. So yeah, you have two channels here, right? Nick's important messages. That's where Nick is posting. Only Nick can post there, so it's super easy to find the updates. You know, the morning post with the links to the live trading, screen sharing. But I'll show you that in a bit. Really quick, the Inner Circle, right? Inner Circle chat. This one. This is where all the users post, share trade ideas. Nick pulls in here as well. Everybody, you know, chips in. It's such a great environment to learn, to trade, to really even make friends, really in trading. You know, because you'll be trading with these people all day. You know, it's like having a brokerage. You know, you got 250 people there. You know, and they're all pretty much learning and working together, sharing ideas. So it's amazing. It's amazing. Now, afterward, then you have Nick's important messages. Only Nick can post in this chat room. So you can pretty much find every single update that he has. Let's go to the most recent stuff here. It's just been a lot of stuff here, as you can see. 1 second. Okay. So this is one of the most recent, you know, pretty long stuff here. So just to recap, right? So you see this. It's always around 8:30 a.m., 8:40 a.m. So you'll see here a market update of what's going on in the overall market, the macro. He'll get into micros, talking about Netflix and IBM, right? literally look at his post in Netflix at 8:30 a.m. They just reported earnings, literally what he said here, right? James, how often is the discounted membership offered? This is really just for midnight. And if you don't see a laptop on the checkout, that means we ran out. So just make sure that when you're at the checkout, you do see a laptop. That means we still have them. Shout out to Barry. Barry, welcome to the Options Inner Circle, my friend. Let's go. Good shout out. Welcome to the family here, my friend. Make sure once you check in, once you sign up, make sure to check your email. You will be getting some sort of email regarding your laptop. Like it'll say like laptop delivery or action, laptop action required, something like that. So you'll see it there. Make sure you open that email. It's going to have a link to a form. You click that form, you put the address that you want the laptop to be shipped to, and it will be sent after day 7, which is the 7-day money back guarantee that we have. So yeah, the 7-day money back guarantee is available for everybody. And it doesn't matter where you are, you can pretty much take advantage of this. We do have people all around the world that are part of this community. So the pre-market update, right? This is a pre-market post. Nic will post this every morning, right? Around 8:30 a.m. Eastern. And pretty much the most important link here is the live session. But you see that he has all the other, the SPY, the Qs, the IWMs, futures charted out, and also earnings, a video for earnings right there. You see that? Earnings, right? Now, when you click the live session here, okay, you're going to see this link there. Let me show you again. Meet.jit, something like that. You'll see it says live session next to it. And you go in there, you put your name, right? You join the meeting if you want. And this is going to be live the entire day. This is the entire day, nonstop, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 p.m. And, we have about 50 people here. I'm not really sure what they're doing here. But I do recognize some of these people here. I do recognize Dan B, fellow Jitster. I mean, I've signed up like 99% of these people. So Jeremy in the house, John C, Jimmy, John, what's up? Mike, Lisa. Nikki, yeah, Marianne. So there's a lot of people here that I've seen before. Not sure what they're doing there. I hope they're here, but you can see there's a chat room there, and you can pretty much direct message Nic as well if you want, and he can respond to you by message directly, or he can respond to you by audio, like webinar style, like we are right now, as he reads the comments, and show you the charts, right? As he explains all this, right? Not just explains the trade idea, but also explaining the education behind it. Yep. So I'm going to be posting the link in the chat if you guys want to join. It does have that 70% off. It's till midnight, and it comes with a laptop. Everybody that joins enters a raffle. We're going to pick a winner 2 weeks out, and basically by the end of this month, we're going to have this winner. We're going to call this person, pay for their flight, hotel, everything, take them to the FinTwit conference that's going to be in Vegas. It's going to be amazing fun. Nic will be there. So if you are in town, if you do want to go to Vegas and hang around with Nic and all that stuff, it's going to be great. So but yeah, guys, this is the live trading room. This is right now, Nic is not there, so it's you're just seeing these people there. So we're going to exit out of here, and you can see other videos that Nic has posted. Let's go something about QQQ. See what else we can find. Okay, so this is a brief strategic market update for the week. Last week was red, especially for big tech. IWM was green and Dow flattish. Sunday night, the futures are starting out down almost 1%. Starting the week out from a hole is not ideal, but it's the same hiccup continuing. Nothing new, at least the charts are unfolding according to measured moves. More on this in the AM. Take advantage of the pops, spikes, practice my ABCs, add insurance if you need it, book some profits, close bad trade. And then he puts a video here. I did not know that Nic was doing this sort of stuff, but this is just more value for you guys. So this is, when I mean that Nic gives you like bonus stuff, that's pretty much what I mean. Like he'll give you these sort of videos, like, you know, when there are current market conditions and things like that. And Michael, great comment there. Michael Young, I'm in the inner circle. I've been following Nic for a while. It's a great room. I've learned a tremendous amount and improved my trading. Nic truly loves trading and is very real with people as he teaches and helps traders. The other room participants also add to the experience and trigger new ideas. That's beautiful, Michael. I mean, I'm glad you see that. You know, a lot of folks feel the same way as well inside the inner circle chat, and it's understandable. You know, it's really like when I started trading, you know, they were just pump and dump chat rooms, things like that, fake accounts, bots. You still have all that stuff, you know, these Discord chats. So this really separates itself from all that. It really does add that premium exclusive feel, right, and sense to it, because everybody in there is a real trader, is a real human being. We don't have any fake accounts. We don't have any bots like all these other places that have it just to pump their numbers. You know, we don't have any of that. You know, none of that. Join my Discord, turn $5 into $1 million. None of that. Everybody there is a real human being focused on trading, learning, improving, and the environment is great because it's not like you're talking to real people. You're talking to people that actually are doing this for a living, that do this full time with Nic or part time. So, so good stuff there, Michael. And I'll drop the contact if anybody has questions. Send an email. Don't wait to talk to me. You can sign up. There's a 7-day money back guarantee. So, you know, it's all good there. You can talk tomorrow. 6 at 7 p.m. here. But let's give me a 1 in the chat if you guys want to watch some of Nic's videos. I just need to know if people here have any more questions about joining the chat room, or if anybody has any, just before I move on, right? So in the chat room, let me know if we're good with the questions for the chat, if everybody has every question answered, or if you're waiting for me to call you, just so I know that we can move on to the next section here. All right, perfect. So we're good. I think we're good with the questions, unless anybody's taking their time to type with this. Raj, good question. Could you please let me know what is included in the subscription other than the chat room and the education videos? Yeah, so you have remember we went over the live screen sharing. So that's Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. Let me go ahead and find this. It's gonna be a post like this, right? So you go here, you put in your name, pop in there. There's about 250 people live whenever we do have the live market open. Nic is sharing his charts Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 p.m. Also Sundays, you do have a meeting with Nic. It's for 2-3 hours. He goes over hundreds of stocks. If you missed that session, the recording is posted in the chat right here in this same thing, in the blue chat, in Nic's important messages. So that's pretty. Now the majority of the activity, if you are looking for active, like, you know, immediate stuff, it's gonna be here, right? Because you can talk with Nic. Now I could tell you 1,000 things that he could teach you, but you know, like once you're in the chat room, you can do that because you're there the entire day with him. You can ask him about this, you can ask him about that. There's no sort of cap on that, right? And like what you can ask about. So a lot of people join for the education, that sort of stuff. They're starting out. They want a mentor, somebody that can like kind of hold their hand, that sort of stuff. Philip, what happens when Nic is sick or on holiday? I mean, I don't think he's gotten sick since I've been here. But I mean, of course, if he's sick, he's sick. You know, he's a human being. But Nic is not a person that usually. I mean, he's really dedicated to his room. The fact he's already with you Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and Sundays. There's really not much more time you can ask from a person at that point. And Raj, I'm new to options trading. That's good. I'm glad you're here. If you're new to options trading, you've definitely come to the right place. Somehow, however, that happened. But I can tell you that starting with the right foot, with the right mentor, with the right educator, somebody that can help you and guide you, make sure you're not doing silly mistakes and things that can easily be avoided, like, somebody buying a contract, for wrong reasons and then just selling it for a loss and such and no idea why, so there's so many things, so many mistakes that can happen. There's so many ways that things can go wrong. It's you can get so creative with how you can mess up, honestly. So really important to have that mentor, educator, partner, if you will, right? So this is where you're going to get the majority of the action. If you want to talk with Nic the entire day, Mr. Philip, no, I'm sorry, Mr. Raj, I mean. So yeah, that's where you get the majority of the action. If you want to talk directly with Nic, you can literally just post in that chat, and Nic will answer. You can send him a private message here too. He can answer you by voice and as he shows you in the screen. And so I'm gonna go over really quick a couple questions that you guys are emailing. If it doesn't matter if you guys email the questions, you can put them in the chat too. Don't be shy. That way everybody can see your questions. Because I'm pretty much like going over like 20 emails here that you guys send. But these are some of the ones I was able to pick up really quick. So if you did miss out some of the questions we had during the session, this is like a recap of some of those. So will Nic Chahine go over all the member trade ideas in the live sessions? Yes, he will go through each and every one live with you, do a full analysis, macro, micro, technical, fundamental, price channels, options chain analysis, all that sort of stuff with you, right? Pricing, option strategies, how you can play it. He literally gave this one person 4 ways to trade like one thing, so there's different ways you can play the options, right? So good question there. Next, we have Timmy there with the next question. Are the sessions recorded? All the Sunday sessions are recorded. The Monday to Fridays are not recorded. There's like 8-9 hours there. It would take more than a day to upload that, but it's every day. That's the good thing. So you got to make sure you're there, engaging, paying attention, participating. So the sessions on Sundays are recorded and it is posted in the chat room. Good one, Timmy. Are the lessons and the live trading live, or is it like pre-recorded? It's all live. So everything that will be in the chat room is live, right? Everything is live with Nic, Monday to Friday. It's always live. Will everybody that joined today get a laptop? Yes, that is until midnight or until you don't see a laptop in the checkout. So I encourage you to click on that link and see if there's still a laptop. That way you can at least see, because I have not checked. I have too many things open here. But I do know we have about like 9 more available last time I checked. So good stuff there. Can this help me if I trade crypto, stocks, or commodities? Of course, I trade all those that you just mentioned, and I know other people that, even people that trade Forex, they're in the chat room. There's so much knowledge there being given that it's just not, calling it the options chat room, live trading chat room is an injustice to really everything that's happening there, because there's so much knowledge being given about just the overall options world, strategies, different plays that you can make, learning experience. You can learn from other people's mistakes. I mean it in a good way, right? As a community, if somebody's asking a question and they made a mistake, what if you didn't know that you couldn't do that? So now you kind of have that, like, you went through the lesson without actually going through the financial lesson. Does that make sense? So the other stuff we have next, good question there. Is this just for new traders or is it for more advanced traders? Well, we have people from all sorts of ranges. We have people that are literally just getting started, that are just trying to learn. And we have people that have been trading for a long time, right? But they really know that they could, improve their P&L, because there are people in the market that have been doing this for 10, 20, 30 years, and they've been losing money all this time. So that doesn't mean anything. You've been here for 40 years if you're, so we have people, and at the same time, you can still be advanced, but there could be flaws to what you're doing. And many times I see this because people are trading alone. They're doing this by themselves. They don't have a solid community, a tight community. I can tell you by name some of the real people that come to the Benzinga chat room every day, and they're excited every morning. They've had some amazing improvement. The progress is amazing from when we started the chat room a year ago. And you see them just, passing everything with flying colors, even helping now. Now they're even helping. So Nic helped them, and they became, so confident and so good in their skills that not only did they improve, but they also helped the other traders that are a little bit newer improve. And that's really what it's all about. When I'm talking about the community, I'm talking about people helping each other and making sure that no trader is left behind. You're not going to find that sort of bond and tight, friendship level in any of these pump and dump chat rooms. I don't want to mention them, but you know what I mean, right? So that's the thing, right? Are you trying to make it a career? You think this is just like a side hustle? You can just kind of, just get in, do a trade, make $1,000, leave. Like, I mean, there's stuff that you have to do as well if you want to be successful in the long term. You could get lucky a couple times, but there's also, there's also the aspect of if you're serious about it, right? And the most important, it's like going to the gym, right? So different to like when you do it alone, that if you do it with like a group or a community of people, not only is there more accountability, but everybody's kind of cheering, helping each other out, making sure that your teammate doesn't fail, that everybody succeeds as a team, right? Because if everybody wins, then that's just better for everybody. And that's really the mindset that people have. It's just go in and look at it for yourself. So good question there. Good question there for that one. What is the schedule of the chat room? The schedule of the chat room is Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 p.m. That's every single day. That's right. And Sundays, you're meeting for about 2-3 hours. So, I mean, it's more time than what most people can handle. But for those that really want to, immerse themselves like in that sort of environment, which is good, right? You have that opportunity. So when can you join? You can join anytime. Honestly, just make sure. I mean, but the thing is, it's just going to be the price and the deal. So if you join tomorrow or the day after today, today is, I think it's the 19th. So if you join today, you will get the deal, right? And by the deal, I mean you're getting the live trading Monday to Friday and Sunday sessions with Nic. You're getting the all the bonus strategies like trading earnings, things like what I just showed you right now in the chat room. They'll randomly post things like that, just to make sure that everybody's always learning things like that at a good pace. So you'll get all the bonus content like this strategic market up. We might look at that video later, but you can see he's dropping setups, trade ideas, all that stuff. You'll get 2 to 5 a day. And then you'll get also so many scalping opportunities for those that do like to, like maybe day trade options. So Rick is asking what kind of laptop. Yeah, so it is a, let me check here. It's a new Google Chromebook, and pretty much you don't have to return it, nothing like that. It's just, a courtesy item here from Benzinga. We had some leftover laptops, and really these are the last laptops that we're going to be sending out from my understanding. Like I think the laptops are just going to be taken away soon. So everything I've told you has come true. So like I'm trying to be like honest with you guys. But I think the laptops are going to go away. So we do have some leftover laptops. If you happen to see one there, it means we still have a couple left over. I think there was like 7 or 8 last time I checked. Yes, this is different, Raj. Correct. This is live trading options with Nic Chahine. But any questions about that, email me. Okay. Kevin Costello, what up, dude? Kevin is asking, is the laptop a PC or Mac? I believe it's a Google Chromebook, so definitely not a Mac. All right, Raj. So basic education options, like understanding the different terminology, order types, is from education videos. No, Raj. So you have the actual videos that are the education videos. That Nic was constantly adding more here. What is a put, spread, all that stuff, win a book profit, the whole 9 yards. That's one thing. But during the actual trade, like for example, here he posted something about. This is the Sunday session, right? But I'm trying to find, like for example, it could be this one, like the most recent one. He's talking about QQQ.
Hey traders, it is.
So he's talking about the QQQ there, and he's gonna give a trade. Now, before he gives the trade, he's gonna give you full perspective of why he's taking the trade. Why is he taking that trade? What's the point of taking that trade? You know, the logistics behind that trade, that sort of stuff. So for example, you know, if he's trading the QQQ, he will tell you, this is why I'm trading it. This is the macro, the micro, a full background explanation. So he gives you the education before he gives you the trade idea. You connect the dots. It's a lot easier to learn. And personally, I think that's a better way to learn, if you ask me. It's just a lot easier to learn as you see it, right? I would much rather learn by seeing someone doing it, showing me real time, than to sit down and read a textbook and watch a picture of someone doing it. So that's just me, right? That's how I learn. But if you feel that you're new and you want to learn, I'm telling you, this might be the thing for you, because you'll pretty much get a little bit more far ahead than just taking education, because you'll get the education, but you will apply it to the real-time trade every single time. So it's a constant flow of trade ideas that are backed by education. And we're talking full-on education, technicals, charting, market sentiment, momentum, analyzing trends, levels, analyzing all the strategies. How can you profit from here? Okay, you're stuck in a pickle with this trade. How can we help you minimize damage? It's really a community approach, all hands on deck here with the options inner circle. I'm telling you, you got to live through it to really know what I mean. So, no, Raj, no, nothing to do with trading. Yeah, I'm not sure why people mention that thing here, but no, it's nothing to do with this. Yeah. Rick, we went over that question. So yeah, folks, I mean, that pretty much covers everything here. I think we covered everything. If I missed anything, let me know in the chat. I think we went over every single question there. There's a couple more here I'm going to get to really quick. What is the price at renewal? That's going to be the same price from today. And the 7-day money back guarantee. That's right, folks. So, all right, folks. So I think we covered everything. If anybody does have any questions, let me know. Feel free to reach out. The contact is going to be in the chat. And thank you, everybody, for joining, for being part here of this session with Nic. Had a lot of fun. And for those that are here and want to join, learn more about how to trade with Nic, you have the link there, okay? You have the link there. Take it. Look, it's a 7-day money back guarantee. You can literally try it out, take it out for a spin, and see if it fits you, right? It's for the whole year. So, you know, consider this like an options camp. It can be either, you know, the trading partner that you're looking for, if you're a little bit more advanced, or it could be that educator, teacher, mentor that you really need before you get started. So with that in mind, folks, thanks for everybody for being here. We will see you in the chat room, and just make sure any questions, reach out, contacts in the chat. So thanks a lot, folks, and we'll see you tomorrow in the chat room.